Hello and welcome to another Toonkind at 12 FPS. This is going to be a fun one, folks. I'm very excited. You're going to be your mainly sort of DM. If the players want to bring in some of my NPCs slash player characters, they can, but we'll see how it goes. But I'm with two amazing, wonderful, creative, and talented friends. Please introduce yourself.
I love being the introducer for that because she's just like, I can compliment my friends.
And they
and then
cannot escape.
Yes.
And then when you're not doing the announcements, you're just like, ah, not fair. I'm Kendall. Today I'm going to be playing Dr. Crystal Everlight, and I am a little bit nervous about what today's game's going to entail.
Yeah, indeed. Hi, everybody. I'm Whis. I am playing one Chiffley Ford. He's not a doctor, but he is a nurse, so it's medical professional hours over here, fam.
Yeah. You also got roped into this by accident.
That happens when you're a protagonist. Oh dear. That's fine. I am completely fine with this.
But yes, the main reason why these characters are getting together is because of an event that was actually happened within the server. It's a text FPS between me and V Wild, where one of her informants went to go check in on, say, James Heineken, who has been prowling the streets of University City, and they wanted to know why. And
this was Morpha, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was Morpha.
Tracks.
So Morpha got close, literally, and did learn some information, but she was caught and almost captured. It was close. Literally, the door had to be slammed in James's face. But they got some good information, but also a sample of blood, which...
Oh, golly.
Sorry, I'm just smiling right now because
So this sample is from James?
No, Evelyn does not know this, but the players would know this. Yes. The sample is from James, and Lin
cool.
Lin basically wrote this letter to Crystal with some of the blood. And I'm just gonna read this letter that V-Ryle wrote because I love it.
Do.
It's very good.
So great.
It's very good.
Put that joy on the rest of the audience. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I should read it. Dr. C. Everlight. I have acquired this enclosed, sealed, and preserved lifeblood sample from an altercation that was undertaken between one of my high-level informants and a dangerous criminal who is present within University City. The altercation resolved well, and we managed to obtain the sample without major harm to our own. The blood hunter criminal in question, sketch attached, is a lichen, unaffiliated with the lichen known to myself. I am hoping that you to see this singular being as a distinction from the majority here at Inkwell. He is directly related to a core aspect of the Headmistress Umbra case and situation. Your discretion is encouraged and strongly advised. Please burn the image and this letter after reading it through thoroughly, for my sake. The blood within this sample is of distinct note, and I have taken efforts to preserve it as much as possible. I will not bias your results nor direct where you pursue study with it, as I am well aware of your expertise and skill in this field. However, this life essence is distinct note that I believe strongly draws into your area of expertise and specific called upon cases and will be potentially of incredible value. It seems intriguing on a blood work, serological, chromatographic, curse base, and such level. Even if I myself am less familiar with the arcane aspect, it might be of use. As a detective, I have my own understanding and investigative conclusions on this matter. There is there is something about this one that is distinctly off, but I will let you come to your own reasonings. I hope I hope for and expect a full report of your findings so I can collaborate the work and tie some of the conclusions together. Please do not leave anything out, even that which may seem throwaway or you have reservations over. Enjoy the blood, Doc. Say Detective Lin Stagehand.
Enjoy the blood.
Fantastic. Yeah, I believe that, I think that Crystal had a heads up this was coming because Lynn basically said through, a phone call or something, hey, I have a blood sample for you. Enjoy.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yes.
Incredible. I love it. I love it. I love Lynn. I love V Wild so much.
I love you well too.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So, um, so Crystal gets this, and I think that she is, getting, she's, probably, committing it to memory a little bit, and then, um, she is following Lynn's advice, and, well, actually, she might take a couple of small notes in, in her notebook, where she keeps track of a lot of her major cases and stuff, of some of the most important details. And then yeah, she is going to burn the letter.
And I'll just say for a reminder of you two, you've seen this pic before, but you do see basically a either full body or a head sketch, maybe both because it's Detective Lin Stagehand. She would probably have
Yeah.
both.
Yeah. Enough information for Crystal. That what Crystal needs. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I just gonna post this in here too because I love Sotaro's art.
Oh, that's very cool. I believe yes, yeah.
Dang.
But yeah, so she does burn a letter, and I leave the floor to you. Where does she want to how does Crystal want to handle this? Where does she want to go? Who does she want to contact?
Well, first of all, she is thinking that it might be useful to have a second set of hands for this. She's not opposed to working alone. In fact, that she prefers that most of the time. But because this does seem to be around, well, this is not the first blood sample around University City that she's gotten, and it has been helpful in the for those other cases for her to have had a second opinion on this. So I think she thinks for a little bit and then probably decides that yeah, getting Chiffley involved in this might she probably mulls it over for a day before because she's got other work and stuff before she's like, all right, I need to get onto this. Yeah, I should probably call Chiffley and say, hey, Chiffley, you get a call.
Alright. Yeah, well, Chiffley will probably, if it's during his normal work hours, he will probably not answer, but, he can always call back on his lunch break. He's just like, oh, Crystal doesn't normally call me. That's unusual.
Yeah,
He'll just
yeah.
he'll just call her back with his heckin' pale blue Nokia brick. Bring.
Yeah, she'll answer. Because I think actually I need to roll. Does she usually have her phone on her when she's working?
We'll just play phone tag. I don't think Chiffley even has a voicemail.
Oh, she does not. Oh god.
Okay.
Oh.
I think Chiff's gonna like. Oh, she's not answering the phone. Um. Hmm. Hmm. Is it an emergency? I wonder. He'll call a second time.
Yeah, oh god. Okay, I need to roll something for her. I'm gonna roll not a D2 and see if she would think that this is a good idea to just probably a straight wisdom.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, that's a 15 plus why are they all modifiers weird on this one? Hold on. Yeah, 15 plus 2. So yeah, that's a 17. She's gonna she knows to take her phone with her. So I think
I'm expecting a call, so I should probably keep the call device nearby.
Yeah.
yeah.
She was just in the restroom and she hears the second ring.
Yeah, I think maybe
Yeah.
what it was the first time, when you've got your phone on you but you don't have it on you and you're doing something and then you're like my phone is ringing. Fuck, where did I put it?
And it also doesn't like if you're in the zone and it doesn't register straight away.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
So she got to it when it finished ringing, and then he called again, and this time she's picked up.
Ah, there you are.
Yes, sorry about that. Hi, Chiffley. You're probably wondering why I was calling.
It's not something that happens that often, so I am a bit curious. What's up? Everything alright?
Yes, well, nothing is wrong per se. Just, you remember the last time that the two of us worked together with um, a patient?
Yes.
Well, Detective Lin has found something that might be potentially connected to the broader case that seemed to fall into, and I thought that, well, your your insight was useful last time, and I trust you with this sort of sensitive material. If you would be willing to help me out with it.
Oh, oh, of course. I can definitely swing by after work. Um, are you working out of University City, or are you back in Toontown now?
Back in Toontown. Unfortunately, I don't have as many access privileges to University City, and the travel time is a bit long, so I made sure to call ahead this time so that I have a room booked that we can use.
Great. Okay. I can come straight there when I wrap up for the day, and I'll
Thank
just
you.
make sure that Cassie or Dorian is picking Missy up from school.
Yes, that should work. Thank you.
My pleasure. I'll see you later.
Yeah. Best of luck with work.
Thanks. Boop. Like. Then he's going to go about his workday and like spend the entire day going, "Ooh, things connected to the Mad Lad thing." Huh. And then he's gonna, after he clocks off, he will call Cassie and or Dorian, depending on who's available. And can you pick Missy up from school? Okay, thank you. And then he'll head over to Crystal.
Probably Cassie, given Dorian's track record of not always picking Mixie up from school.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, like, he has apologized profusely, but he may still be on the shit list. So, yeah, okay, who call Cassie first? Like, can you please pick her up? Please. Just need to do a thing. Oh, boy.
Yeah. Yeah, Cassie's like, yeah, yep, they can do that kind of thing. Because yeah, Dorian's not in the responsible parent category at the moment.
He's in the bad books. Oh, dear. To be fair to him, it's not entirely his fault, but we won't get into that today. All right, cool. Well, Chiff will, having had that being satisfactorily squared away, make his way over to Crystal's workroom.
Yeah, I think it probably came like an hour later, but then you get this long message from Crystal and a map of the university and like with the like this is where I've booked it. And like the long message is probably like anything you might need about if you get lost on campus, or if you need to, if someone asks you why you're there, or if you need to get through this door because they only have swipe cards, or I will have my phone on me, so if you get lost, like, do make sure you contact me. Like all of that sort of like sent you.
Well, now I have to roll survival, don't I?
Yeah, I feel like you do.
Sorry.
Fuck me, Chiffley.
I mean, can you have advantage because you've got help?
Say, I would allow advantage.
All right. Okay, that's better. That's so much better. Oh, dear, dear, dear. What's your survival? Okay, it's a +4, so it's also not too bad. That's a 21. So yeah, he has no problems whatsoever. Maybe it's a shaky start. Maybe he sort of gets there and he's just a little bit overwhelmed and he's like, but then he like actually reads the message again. It's like, okay, this he has to scroll because it's a Nokia phone, so it's like it's only got a little tiny screen and it's hard to scroll. But then he gets the information he needs and he's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It also might be a case of, okay, instead of trying to remember all of the information, just like keep like anytime he's like, okay, now what, and just look at the phone and look at the next piece of advice.
Yeah, so it was not a failing on his part, it was a technical issue. Oh dear, but he will make it there without much difficulty then. Just for interest's sake, I rolled a 5 on the last one, so it's like, oh dear, we got to do this. But yeah, so he'll make his way there with minimal problems after all of that. And I'm picturing this to be like any kind of school, like science lab kind of thing. So it's got the door with that narrow vertical rectangular window in it. And he'll just sort of peek inside, see that she's in there, and then just let himself in, provided the door's not locked.
Yeah, unfortunately I think he'll have to knock. This is going off of my experience of university, where it's like that you need like key cards to get into certain buildings, and then you need them again to get into certain rooms and stuff. So like he probably was able to especially after hours. So he's probably able to flag someone leaving to let him in like the building, but then he's going to have to knock to be let in the room.
Okay, well he will in that case. He'll knock.
Yeah. I am not gonna roll a perception for Crystal because I think she's expecting him. So I'm gonna say that that's enough for her to get her attention. She's gonna let him in with thank you, Chiffley. I hope you didn't have any trouble getting here.
No, it was fine. It was I've not really gotten too many written messages on this thing. And he kind of gives his phone a little bit of a waggle. So working out how to get the instructions was a little bit tricky at first, but we got there. It was fine.
Oh, right. I should have thought of that. She's just like, duh, like sort of like expression.
Yeah, not something that I use very often, so don't stress about it. So, have you got started already?
Not started per se as much as setting up anything that I thought we would need. I figured that would be the most efficient use of time rather than attempting to start things and then having to re explain them once you arrived.
That's fair. So, where are we starting?
Right, well, and I'm actually not going to roll Hammer Space. I'm going to say that Crystal has pulled it, like, has sort of set it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, would she have. Um, you know what? I actually am going to roll Hammer Space because Crystal is the sort to probably not pull something like that out
Mm-hmm.
until absolutely necessary because she is slightly paranoid given the extent
Circumstances.
of this, yeah, of this
Mm-hmm.
case. So and yeah, she's she would, use as best proper procedure as she could. So where is my D10? There you are. Yep, that's a four. That'll be enough. Yep, she's gonna pull out um it's probably in like a container, like sort of like a sealed vial
Mm-hmm.
container kind of thing, where you
Yep.
unclasp the locks, and it's got that like spongy material with the vial in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably labeled something like sample C case number 3579 or something like that.
Yeah, something a detective would definitely write on there.
Yeah. Well, also like Crystal labels those sort of things so she can keep track of that.
That's fair.
And she's not going to use like numbers that people will recognize.
Mm-hmm. Fair
mm.
enough.
Yep. Chiff will just sort of nod and look at it, and so the detective thinks that this has something to do with. Well, did you tell the detective about Mad Lad?
I gave her a rundown, her and a few others that were involved in the case, a rundown of what we found, but I excluded names because I told them that I wanted it to be, that I thought it was prudent to keep it confidential.
Well, it's about a minor for a start, but
Well, yes, I did mention that the subject was a minor, and that was why I wasn't revealing any names.
hmm. Where did she say she got this from?
She said it was from University City. Apparently one of her informants ran into an altercation there with someone who she believes is involved with the larger case there, the one where the first sample came from, that was very similar to what we found in
Hmm.
MATLAB's results.
Well, that makes sense, I suppose. If the first sample and this one were both recovered from University City.
Yes, I do have a little bit of information on the person. Apparently, they were a lycanthrope.
Hmm. Interesting. Given some of the things that Mad Lad and Alexander told us.
Yes, I was thinking so too.
Well, let's have a look at it then, I suppose.
All right. All right. Then, I guess. Yeah. Sorry, that was me like trying to figure out words.
It's okay. Words are hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think yeah, she's gonna nod and then uh probably the first thing um pull out like pull it over to the microscope and pull like a dropper out and drop onto a thing so that they can put it under the microscope to look at.
All
What
right.
do they call those little glass bits? Slides, I think.
Slides. Yes,
Yeah.
slides.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want me to give an investigation
Alright, I can do.
or a medicine? I would allow either one because of your background.
Thank
Do it
you.
with the advantage with the help action because Chiffley's helping.
Thank you, because I just rolled a nat 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
It'd be like that.
It'd be like that.
Thank you. That's not a great start, but my modifier, my medicine modifier, will thankfully make that still pretty decent.
What did you get? Oh yeah,
Uh,
17.
that's
17.
That's because my push talk key is caps lock, so I didn't
No, you're fine.
realize it.
Yeah, so
Capitalized
you
it for
almost do
17.
the 2D thing as you place the blood upon the slide and about to go over. You accidentally trip over your own feet and it dances within the air, but thankfully Chiffley helps and catches it on the side.
Yeah.
Oh, dear, oh dear.
Yeah, thank you. That would have not been great.
I know you're keen to get the results, but just take a breath. We're not in a rush.
Right. You're right. It's important to take the right amount of time with these things. She seems like she's not just saying this to you.
Yep, Chip's very familiar with the give advice out loud so that everyone, including me, can hear it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's just needed.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Alright. Microscope time.
Yeah.
Yep.
For what you get specifically for a microscope, you have to do with illnesses and stuff, and not very sure if like cancer would fall underneath that, but this is you could already tell just by looking at the cells just at a base level that there is clear evidence of lycanthropy and actually a lot stronger presence of it. Like, you sort of get that this guy was maybe a werewolf before whatever happened to him happened to him. But
Right.
this lycanthropy has been basically increased. It has been powered up. And you're not even sure that you're pretty sure that a basic lycanthropy cure would not cure this thing if he even wanted to be cured in the first place.
Yeah, lycanthropy is one of those odd, like those difficult cases where like people are like, because there are lycanthropes that are born that way and lycanthropes that end up that way due to being like infected or bitten or things like that. And generally, the ones that are born that way don't have any issue with what they are, but you get varying cases of people who do and don't want to be cured if they've been transformed into that at a later date.
You don't know if he was born a lycanthropy or was cursed with it by looking at it right now. However,
Fair enough.
However, by looking at this just on a cellular, just a glantory cellular level, you have to go into more detailed machinery if you want to get more information, but you could definitely see that there are the cells that you're looking at look reminiscent of half-tune ones, but very distant half-tunes. However, there are also cells that are full tune, that are absolutely full tune, and you is a from what you've seen with the lycanthropy, how that's reacted. The more tuned they are, the higher the lycanthropy is say magic is around that particular cell, and the ones that are more like real kind, sort of half tuned, are not. So you can easily probably make a deduction that a very bad deduction, sort of a gut feeling that if this guy turns into his lycanthropy form, he becomes tuned, even though it's clearly evident from like the sketchings this guy's a real kind.
Yeah. Yeah. I think she's gonna pull back and interesting. Whatever has whatever process that is causing the mix of tune and real kind, whether it be the same method that was used in the last two cases or not, is interacting with his lycanthropy, with their lycanthropy, very strangely.
What do you mean?
As in, it's almost making it more, if that makes any sense.
So like an advanced werewolf kind of thing, or not that they're always wolves, but like. And this is similar to what we saw with Mad Lad as well, with the half-tune, real kind, smushed together nonsense.
Yes.
So
Hard to tell in this case how similar that is, if it's a similar method or similar results.
You also, with a 17, get something else. But you sort of had to like look back at the sample because you thought maybe it was nerves or something. But you look back at the sample through the stethoscope, and as you stare at this sample, you see something probably even more disturbing. Cells are disappearing and reappearing like in and out of existence. But like 1 minute they're there, the next they're not, and then they reappear in front of your eyes. The blood itself looks stable in quotations, but at the same time unstable at the same time.
That's not a good sign.
Chip's gonna lean over and have a look. Can I roll a medicine for Chiffley?
Yes, you may.
Come on, Chiffley, don't let me down, mate. Yay! Yay, we like that. What's your medicine? It's stupid high, isn't it? Where is it? Where is it? There. Yes, we like proficiencies.
26,
26.
Nice.
Yeah. Does Chiffley have any original ideas right now? Or
Well, he doesn't really have the full brief on the first sample. He only knows that Mad Lad was similar to it, in a way that got Crystal really like anxious. And so he's looking at this and he's sort of like, he's making that connection. It's like, okay, this is a real kind who has been like forcibly smushed together with some sort of Toonish shenanigans, with the assumption, because of how it's interacting with the visible markers at this level of his lycanthropy, that like this, what is he, an elf or something, or a human maybe, turns into a toon werewolf, which sounds painful. But also, like, he's sort of mostly looking at the disappearing and the reappearing, whether or not it's like a like its cellular decay, or if it's more like the what things like solvents and things do to ink, and then they're
Mm.
like being remade or reborn, or if it looks more like um what's it called? It's not Misty Step, but there's another thing where you like bamf into the astral plane and then can walk around and then
Blink.
bamf back. Blink, yes, that.
Blink.
So, like, whether or not this looks like it's a physical reaction or like an alchemical kind of reaction, or if it looks like it is a magical reaction. That's what he's trying to work out.
You, none of the above. You have not seen anything like this. You've seen stuff, like you said, with chemicals and stuff. You've seen stuff with magic, which you think magic has to do something with it because these are like the cells are exactly where they were when they disappear. Like they re it's al- it's almost like they're blinking, but at the same time you don't say there's something else to this, but you do not know what it is. It's like
Yeah.
he's almost being erased and being drawn back.
Okay.
Mm. Crystal is wanting to cast Identify on the sample. I think she might I think she might do it on the sample because that's a smaller thing. It won't, if something goes wrong, it won't interfere with the other source. And yeah, she's gonna be like touching the slide rather than the blood for that.
As you touch the slide, you actually get
Yeah.
a very similar vibe to what Mad Lad has. This is a you sort of from what you're seeing along with the magic, it's sort of the same sort of thing in a way that this is magic but also real kind that this so, even though this sample is little less stable than Mad Lad's in theory because of the disappearing and reappearing blood, it's not it's not unstable enough like the first sample itself. This sample is close to what Mad Lad is, but not quite. It's like a step below that.
Right. Can she tell what the disappearing and appearing is from Identify?
It's almost primordial in your thing. It's not one school of magic, but it's something else. Something else that just makes you shiver. But you can't, like, you know it. You feel it as a tune. But you can't quite get what it is off the top of your head.
Huh.
Hmm.
Okay. I think she'll
Gosh.
relay that to Chiffley. I have an idea, but I don't know.
This kind of shit is so far out of my wheelhouse. I don't have any actual, like, medical kind of ideas. I have one idea, and it's probably stupid, but I'll save
Oh,
it. I'll save it because like it just popped into my brain and I'm like, oh, Chiff, you're curious to see what happens now, aren't you? Fuck.
I'm wondering if this is related at all to like the well of inspiration. And so I'm trying to figure out whether okay, uh, can I roll a history to
Yes, you
see if
can.
Crystal has encountered like well I don't
Yes.
actually know what it's called. But
Yes.
yeah, that because that
Yes,
would
you
probably
may.
be something.
Roll is a roll. Yes.
History?
Yes, history.
All right, cool. Okay. It probably was a fair while ago because this would have been in her initial research, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's a 17.
Oh yeah, you get this. There are many theories about how tunes are made up, though generally known to be made up of magic, ink, and creativity. However, as you go through your notes and like your thought processes and the theories in your heads, there's one that sticks out to mind. That the creativity sort of portion, there's a theory that that part of being a tune could be even broken down further along the scale into 7 minor components. One that the names maybe switch around, but they go along the lines as inspiration, potential, abstraction, incarnation, leaden, auditory, and finally erasure.
The
The
Pillars of
Pillars.
Inkwell.
And
I, yeah.
and though none of it has been fully confirmed, you also see blood/ink disappearing and reappearing without a trace.
Mm. Yeah. I think she's gonna pinch the bridge of her nose at that. Like, I think what she did was like, sorry, Chiffley, she's probably like not talking to you right now because like she's got this like train of thought. Um,
That's completely fine. I'm going to roll my hammer space and let Chiffley follow his train of thought, which is stupid, and I cannot believe I'm letting him do this. But this is why we're here. Is that my D10? Yes, that's my D10.
yeah,
That's a 9. All right.
so you sort of pulled out her like her old notes, just flicked through them, like to sort of refresh herself on the well of inspiration and the pillars. And then she's like, yeah, okay, this is like reminding me of that. And then there's just this like, are you kidding me? I'm not like this is a little bit like this is where like my field of science crosses over with mythology, and that information is not easy to get or very verifiable. And she's just like, ah.
In the meantime, Chiff has pulled out his full kit of color draw equipment, which he keeps upon his person. And he's just doing a small draw off of his own, like the back of his hand, getting a small sample of that dark blue that he has on his glove, and popping it not onto a swatch like he normally would, but he's actually putting it onto another one of the glass slides for the microscope.
Oh, that's not a bad idea. Compare.
And when as Crystal's having her little kind of moment, he'll do that, and then he'll just sort of lean over and go, "Can I poke you with this pen for a second?"
Huh? She's just gonna look up like from her notes in the like blink blink. What?
He just sort of holds up the pen. I need to jab you with this.
Ah, um, right. Hold on a second. Like that's me. I need to roll something. Oh, fantastic. Okay, yeah, okay. I don't know. Yeah, that's still not great. This is a deception.
I'll just roll an insight straight away. What's your insight? We'll see. Oh.
Might not matter.
No, you can't roll lower than that. So it doesn't matter that his roll was shit.
Yeah, you can definitely see there's a little bit of like panic on her face as she's pulls away a little bit, and I'd really rather you didn't right now.
Okay, if you don't want me to. I was just curious, not so much of the contents of what yours would look like, but given that the conversations we've had and you have faith in you, you are not half Toon. And he does like quotes, but not real kind either. So I was wondering whether or not yours and mine and this would look any different. But if you'd rather not, that's fine. I'll just look at mine.
That is it's actually a very smart idea. Unfortunately, I cannot guarantee that my palate is not compromised right now.
Blink, blink. he has a confusion. I've just realized why that is. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. Whoops. That's fine. Chiff doesn't know that. Carry on.
Yep.
God.
I mean, he can ask if he wants, but sorry, Winona, for this interfering
No,
with the game.
I am loving this. I am loving this.
Oh, Chiffley is just sort of frowning a little bit. Like, palate is compromised. The fuck does that mean? But, like, he's also going to be respectful. She said no, so no, it is. So you can see on his face, he is not trying to be, like, professional or hide this at all. There is just this, what the fuck does that mean? Expression on his face, but he doesn't press the matter. So he's just got his slide and he's just gonna carefully move the danger slide over there and then put his own in and have a look.
If I rolled a D2 to see whether Crystal would elaborate, and she's decided yes, she is going to elaborate slightly.
Nice.
She's gonna sigh and I think yeah, she's gonna say because she has told her family that she probably can't see them much at the moment because of one of the cases that she's working on.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think she might say you remember that case I mentioned about why Cassie in particular can't see me right now?
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Well, that's got to do with this. And she's gonna like pull down her glove on one of her hands, and there's black ink up her like on her hand and like sort of like spreading up her arm.
Chiffley is now radiating concern. Hmm. Yeah. Yep. Concern. You've caught something.
Yes, and it's been difficult to remove. So I am working on it.
You know you don't have to do it on your own. Right?
That is a nice sentiment, and there are other people who are aware of this, but I might be the best person to try and come up with a solution still.
You are getting a look. You are getting such a look. Because he's heard that shit from you before.
What can I say? Yep, she's insisting. She is She's trying not to think about this. She's pushing forward. She's recovering her glove, and that's not the priority right now. But yes, I don't know if an ink sample for me will be one useful and two potentially hazardous.
Right. Well, we'll focus on the matter at hand. But, we may have to have a conversation about that other problem afterwards. But for now. And he's just gonna give her a gentle but cold because pat on the arm, and then go and check out his own ink sample on the slide. Because I don't think he's actually done that before. Because he doesn't actually keep a microscope is not really part of the general equipment at the ECCR.
Yeah.
Especially in his position, he's mostly doing swatch work, as well as some minor healing and etc. etc. But like he's not he's a nurse. He's not a scientist. So like it's also really fascinating.
Yeah,
all this as well.
And at least
Yeah.
on first and on first glance, Chiffley knows that this sample and his sample are way different samples. That is trying to emulate Toon, but not being fully Toon. And you don't probably know what real kind blood looks like underneath a microscope, but
Nope.
it's very much alien to you. This is, again, similar, even though you probably didn't really fully understand Mad Lad's sample, it still felt like that alienness, but it definitely is different as parts are more separated than together, like in Mad Lads.
Okay. And then he's gonna lean back so that Crystal can have a look.
Yeah, she definitely will. She's making a point of not looking at Chiffley right now and instead focusing on the samples. Just curious. Whatever whatever method they're using is not as refined as the one with Mad Lad. Wonder if it's potentially a coincidence, but I can't shake the feeling that maybe they're trying to recreate it.
Well, he did say that there was an attack or an altercation or something, which resulted in him waking up on the pirate ship.
Yes, and that the research that Alexander's parents did, they had someone in Inkwell that they did research with.
It's strange. The choice to include this Toonkind component. What is the motivation behind adding that, as opposed to more traditional forms of necromancy? And there's gotta be more to it. If it was just a matter of bringing Alexander back.
Yes,
Why does this spread this way?
that's part that. I mean, I suppose there are speculations that I can make, but that starts to lead down an uncomfortable path of speciesism to make speculation about why Toon.
We're kind of in a position where, as uncomfortable as it is, I think those kinds of speculations are worth saying because it is relevant. if this is something that started with Alexander's parents and they decided to include Toonkind into that process, there's got to be a reason for it. But if it didn't start with them, where did they get the idea from?
Right. Well, I suppose the first thing that comes to mind is that, while not unique, tunes are definitely. Sorry. While not the only case, tunes are fairly unique in their resilience and longevity. There are tunes that do not age, that can defy the normal laws of physics, that can survive damage that would kill most people. And while that is not, again, unique to tunes, they are one of the more common races for that to be potentially useful, accessible, maybe.
Perhaps. I didn't think that we were that common outside of Hankwell, though I'll admit it's not really my area of expertise.
No, tunes are quite rare outside of Inkwell, but extremely prevalent within it. It's, well, you can access it in the physical plane is the thing, even if it might take a while to get to. Because there are other races where these sort of properties are inherent, but they're a lot harder to reach, like elves, for instance, who originate from the Fey world, the Fey realm, but that is harder to get to. There's not impossible though. Like I said, that doesn't make tunes unique, which perhaps means that there is some other aspect that we're missing that makes us a better candidate.
Maybe. I don't really know much about necromancy. That really my area either. Unfortunately, we can't just go and ask them. That would be too easy. So, tracking down the... well, I don't remember. Did Alexander say that they thought that the entire lot of them went? So I know he said that he remembered his family getting attacked, his three parents getting attacked. But that doesn't mean the entire mob of blood hunters has disappeared.
That's true. And he didn't know what happened, even to his family. Just that he woke up on the ship after an attack.
Goodness only knows how we got there.
Right. And it's not like we can ask the people who found him either.
No, given history repeated itself, it seems.
Yes, that would be too easy, as you said.
Poor kid.
Ugh. Yes, it's tragic, and I fear that it may not be over.
Yes. If I say though, as you have this conversation, because of your line of reasoning, and I did want to stop you in the middle of conversation because that was really good role play. You want to try some other looking deeper into this blood, similar that you did to the first sample, because there is something that crosses your mind, but you need a little bit more research to do it. And yes.
I might have an idea. I might be thinking the wrong thing, like not the same thing as you. But you said that it was potentially like it was more separate than Mad Lads was. So I think uh God, what's the name of the device? I want to say spectrometer, but that might be wrong. Um the device that spins samples
Yes,
to try
yes,
and
yes.
separate them out.
Centrifuge.
Centrifuge,
That's
yes.
it.
Centrifuge, yes.
Yeah, so I think Crystal is going to shake herself off
See if you
and
can split them.
yeah.
Just spin them apart like in a dryer.
Yeah. So she's gonna like sort of well, speculation will only get us too far only get us so far. And she's going to get another because you know, like the sample on the slide is definitely not gonna be big enough to put in the centrifuge. So she's gonna take a slightly larger sample and put it in the centrifuge.
Yeah.
Just for shits and giggles, see what happens.
I don't know if Chipley knows what this is.
Nope. This is again chemistry. And he is not a chemist or a scientist or anything.
Mm-hmm.
He is a nurse.
Does he want to ask? Because Crystal just put it in this thing and set it, and now it's spinning.
He might sort of tilt his head to one side and give her a bit of a look and what is this going to do?
Right. It's a centrifuge. It separates because of the densities of different components. They will separate under extreme forces. Might give us a clearer idea of what is happening if we can split the components apart.
You think it'll happen that easily?
Well, it's surprising what can split, but, well, given the nature of what we saw, I'm curious to see just how well it sticks together.
So then we look at it under the microscope after it's had its tumble, I assume.
Yes. See if we can notice anything significant. Well, I mean, first thing will be observe the sample when it comes out because you can see visually sometimes the splits. But yes, the microscope will give us more information.
Alright. Interesting. I'm gonna take a few more samples out of my ink so that we can still have that full tune comparison. Also because that's really interesting. He's gonna be honest about it. It's also so he's just gonna go and he's just gonna take a few more little dots. Like he's gonna take them from his glove, but also from like his arms. So they've got a few different colors as well. So you've got some of his really dark blue from his glove, some of the really pale tan from his skin, and then a couple of the little light blue pips from his sort of ice sheer shirt.
Yeah. And while you're
have
doing
a little collection.
Yeah. Also, I say roll me a medicine check as a Chiffley.
Alrighty.
Just for
I can do
something
that.
else. Because you did look at the sample, and you're sort of this thought may cross your mind as you do this, as you take color samples of yourself.
Thank you for giving me prompts because this is outside of my wheelhouse so badly. That's a 20.
You're so valid.
Yeah. As you like do your own color samples, and you sort of take looks back at the sample itself, you really sort of wish you know this guy is probably dangerous. She even said he's a criminal, but at the same time, it's just like you really wish that he was here because from the DNA sample, you probably, if you had like more robust equipment, you probably could get a color sample off him, but not with the equipment that you have right now.
Well, yeah, he has a travel kit. But also, like, yeah, that will cross his mind because it's like, I mean, if Mad Lad is this perfect mesh, I managed to get a complete perfect swatch of almost every individual color of Mad Lad. Except for the bandana bit, which is like an accessory that didn't mesh into his design for some reason. And Brain, remember how Alexander's was different though, wasn't it?
Yes.
He struggled to get swatches from Alexander. He couldn't, could he?
No.
No, it was from the veins, right?
Yeah, it was from the veins.
Oh yeah, the blood huntery thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he did swatch that, or he didn't swatch that? I can't remember which way.
I don't think he could.
He couldn't swatch it. But looking at this blood, you maybe have a idea of possibly how he could, but at the same time you're not very sure, because at least with Alexander's case, it's soul based. It's sort of this soul combination with body and blood. So you're not very sure, but you would be very interested to see how Mad Lad's like color swatches would compare against possibly this guy's, if you could get it.
If you could get it. Like, I mean, he could try swatching off the blood sample, but also he doesn't want to fuck up his equipment.
Yeah.
It's because he quite likes having this on hand, so like he's like, it's my only one.
It's entirely your choice.
If I fuck it up, they're gonna make me pay for it.
You know, this
frowned at.
How much is a
this lab might have some color swatches like equipment in it.
I mean, yeah, fair. I mean, this is his kit that he got as like part of his work equipment at the ECCR, but assumedly, it's not exclusive to them. Like other places
you would have to
also look at
no.
color conditions and things. It's not just the ECCR.
And you have to be taught this too. I did not think of this, but that would make total sense if there is swatch equipment here.
Okay. Well, he's having this think-thunk, he's having this thought, and he'll be looking around at the rest of the equipment as he's having these thoughts, and then being like, hold the phone, that's swatching equipment. And because it's in a lab rather than a portable kit, perhaps it is got a little bit more oomph to it than his portable pencil case. So he's going to take his own swatches and just sort of keep them over there for us to put through the centrifuge and whatever. And then he's going to put his things off to one side in their little case, and then he's going to go and have a little look at the lab's stuff and have a bit of a look and see what condition it's in, make sure it still works, etc.
Oh yeah, and it's in perfect condition. Like, labs take care of their stuff.
Usually.
Yeah,
Usually.
Crystal would make sure it was well taken care of stuff.
Yeah. But then he's going to sort of look at it, and then he's looking at the sample, and like, ordinarily, Crystal can't hear the soundtrack, but because Chiffley is in the room, and this sometimes happens, there's just that, she gets that very quiet music in the background where someone is having a big think-thunk. It's like the idea is forming over there, and you can hear it in this ambient music that is sort of drifting through the walls.
Yeah, that'll be I have been having a bit of an idea of myself, and I'm just like, I don't know how helpful that'll be, but I'm also kind of curious.
Say it.
Yeah, I think I might get to that in a second, but I think she's gonna look over and you have a thought?
Before you spoke up, you've seen Chiffley looking between the sampling equipment and then the main sample that they've got, like the vial, and then looking backwards and forwards, and then he sort of jolts a little bit and then looks up at her. It may not be anything, but I was just wondering whether or not this lab equipment, it's got sampling equipment here. It looks a little bit more robust than my travel kit. If this has toon components, whether or not a color sample would work.
Well, it's probably worth a shot. The well, damage to equipment is included in my budget, given my line of work. Thankfully, it doesn't happen super often, but don't don't try to damage it, obviously. But don't worry if anything goes wrong.
All right, I'll give it a go. I'm just gonna set up the sampling equipment, and how is he gonna go about this?
I would say, I would allow medicine because you are a nurse. However, the DC will be higher because this is more advanced equipment than what you're used to. This is what more the doctors use to fully examine samples from like different color ranges to DNA itself.
Yeah.
Have
the
assist have a help action because Crystal will answer any questions that he has.
All right, cool. Let's play Archivist today, Chiff. Let's see.
I'm rolling hammer space right now because I'm following my line of thought, which is
What did you get?
That assist was so good. That assist was so good because that was a natural 20. Yay!
Oh, nice.
You know, I have multiple contingencies for this, for this game, and you just unlocked the biggest one.
Yay!
But we'll get to that, and we'll get to that in a minute. Because
joy.
There's also another thing that you get because your line of thinking and the sample in particular, which I was not very sure that you guys would get, but here we are.
Here we are. All right, well, Chiff's going to take it. He's not going to rush. He's just going to take it really slow, and he's just going to take this lab equipment, take that sample, and, like, it's actually sampled? Or did it not sample?
It actually did sample. It was very finicky, you could say at least. You had to be really precise, but the soundtrack was on your side and almost, like, gave you a guiding hand to be able to get this sample. And
he's thrilled.
The machine words to life with large list of printed results.
I want to say I want to imagine that like Crystal's like contribution to that was I can't get this to print, and she's just like, oh, hit this, this, and this, and then it prints.
Yeah, well, Chiff was just trying to like swatch it, but like because it's attached to the whole thing, it's got all of this analysis equipment. So he's just taken the sample, it's going into the thing, and it's printing out. He's like, he's just looking at the machine as it's doing that really big old sci-fi kind of noise as it's printing this big roll, this big sheet. That's where we get that big line of paper title card. It's just out of this machine.
Yeah.
Oh, criminy Christmas. Okay. He is still going to swatch it too. Like, once it's gone and done that, he's just going to stick it on some swatch paper. And what kind of color is it? Is it like a red, or is it a black, or is it some sort of weird mottled shit?
The color constantly changes.
Ooh, trippy.
Ooh.
It turns from a red to a brown to a brass to a skin color, and to all these different shades.
It's doing that on the swatch paper without having to touch it or move it or look at it from a different angle. It's just, oh, trippy. Ooh. Oh, he hates that. Like,
yeah.
You can just sort of see him. He's sort of gone a little bit white, like his hair has turned a bit whiter. He's just sort of looking at it, changing color on the swatch paper. He's like, hate that. Oh boy, does he hate that.
normal.
It's like, nope.
Mainly, this is the way it's sort of like, you can sort of see how it wasn't like fully combined, like in the DNA, like in the blood swatch. You feel like this is an extension of that, where because of what it is, it can't settle into one color in itself. It's trying. It's the pure magic portion of sort of the Toonkind part of his DNA is trying to compensate for not fully being Toonkind, and this is its way of doing it.
That might.
However,
that might cement my idea a little bit more. Like, might be what pushes Crystal to do this. But again, let's get to the results first.
However, you also notice something else. Because you took Mad Lad's blood sample, swatch sample. You've seen the numbers and the crunchiness behind that sample. And when you put that current mixture tie-dye color sample away because you're feeling very uncomfortable and start looking into the meat and potatoes and actual details of it, you notice something. You notice a pattern.
We like patterns.
No.
Yeah.
You notice a pattern because even tunes are born different ways. They can pop out of the ground, but they also can be from two parents. They could be biological.
Yep.
And
I think from memory there are three generally considered ways that tunes can be born.
Mm-hmm.
One is from like biological parents, like other real kind. One is that they pop into existence, and one is by crane.
Yeah.
One is by crane. Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, even by crane, it's just like they still have the mixture of both parents, and you see a parental connection with Mad Lad's DNA. Like, it sort of flashes back to you as you look at the numbers. It's just like, wait a minute. And you start connecting the dots. And
if there's a whiteboard in this room, Chiffley is going to get the whiteboard marker and he is going to draw what he remembers, those parental markers that he saw at Mad Lad.
Yeah.
And then he's going to look over at the sample and get, like, from where he's standing, just to look at it and then draw what he saw really slowly. It's like, oh fuck, oh dear.
Oh no.
He's just gonna stand back, fold his arms, and look at these two drawings on the whiteboard, and then draw in a deep breath, and then sigh. I think this is going to be very problematic.
As you look at this and you confirm that this man is Mad Lad's father. Biological father.
Oh, fuck.
Well, that sure is going to complicate things.
On the one hand, it means we know he's not dead. So
on the other,
that.
There's also the other thing that's
not very comforting for what sort of stuff he's in.
You also don't know, as a little side tangent, which father it is.
Oh yes, because he has two.
Because I don't think Mad Lad told you any details about that.
Alexander did.
No, wait, no, yeah. Oh, yes, you
Alexander
did. Oh, yes, Alexander. Yeah. Oh, wait, sorry. That was my bad. Alexander did. So you know which father it is.
Yeah, the one that she wasn't married to was his biological father, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry. I couldn't remember off the top of my head. Okay, sorry. Continue on.
Yep. Yeah.
I
So
don't have my notes on this computer, so I don't remember his name, but yes. Yeah, we did get all three
yeah.
of them.
Yes. And his name, I will tell you, his name was Nathan Summers.
Nathan Summers.
Well,
Now
I
I'm going
guess
to
I
go
know
back to the
information.
letter. Hold on. Let me just look at the letter that we got from Lin. Does it have the name of the criminal in it?
In that particular letter, no, it has no mention of the name.
No. Okay.
Uh,
Cool.
I
Just
think this is
blood hunter
information.
criminal. It just says blood hunter criminal, and we're like,
Oh god,
oh
yep, this is
yeah. God damn.
this is information that's definitely going to Lynn. I think
Mm.
I think Crystal's gonna have to go in person for this, honestly.
Hmm. Okay. Cool. So Chip's looking at the whiteboard. Right. So we've got a few potential answers as to why this person has the same a forced blend of Toonkind and real kind.
Yes. It also much more strongly ties the cases together. This is no longer a coincidental uh, magic connection. This is harder proof that these cases are definitely intertwined.
What about the first sample? Where is that from?
That is from an incident that occurred at University City. I was not involved in the initial altercation, but TOC was, and the pair of us went to help out the police with the case afterwards. How much are you aware of the events happening in University City?
Let's roll a history and find out. What's your history, Jeff? +1. Not your strong point, but that's
No.
fine. So that's an 11. He might have read about the whole dragon headmistress in the newspaper, but he wasn't like super invested in it
Yeah,
because like it's happening on the other side of the country.
yeah, exactly. Which is fair.
Well, like admittedly, it's a completely different country because Anquil is a continent and he lives in the country of Gisnip.
Look,
Yup.
I sort of see this similar to the EU, where people just cross borders
Yeah.
whenever they want.
Yes,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah.
That does make more sense. But, like, more to the point, it was interesting enough that it was in a Toontown newspaper, but, like, it wasn't the big deal because he's not in UPA.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
So he's just sort of gonna tilt his head to the side a little bit and just go, do you mean the dragon thing? I think I saw something about that in the paper once, a while ago now.
Yes, that would be it. The headmistress of the university there was involved in, well, a lot of conspiratorial and other behind the scenes crimes. And the incident the TOC was involved in was fighting her from the sounds of it.
From what I remember of, this is the chicken, right?
Yes, TOC, who I currently live with.
Huh. Well, yes. Well, I've only met them. From what I remember, then they seemed like the kind of person who would have absolutely zero qualms going up against a dragon.
No, they definitely would have no issues there, and um, Yes, well, the group that um fought her succeeded, and the sample was collected from that fight.
From the dragon.
Yes and no. Um, I believe it was on the dragon, but not from the dragon, but an artifact she was wearing. Um, at least that's what I recall being told.
That's that's concerning.
Quite. It mm,
It would have been
wasn't
concerning one way or
pleasant.
the other. One way or the other, it would have been concerning if it was a sample taken from an actual dragon. That would have been. Yeah, I'm really not sure how we would have rationalized that into what we know from speaking with Madlad and Alexander. But for it, for there to be a blood sample of this forced combination of real kind and Toonkind life essence just being worn in as an accessory that
It
would have had some sort of reason to be worn as either a keep it safe or having some other purpose, some other function. And I'm not quite sure which of those worries me.
yes, I'm not sure either. It's was disturbing because it was not quite like these cases. There were many different sources of blood and ink in that sample forced together.
Not whatever happened with Madlad and Alexander, but literally getting a Toon's ink and a real kind person's blood and mixing them in a jar.
In a simple terms, yes, but more, I would say, more magic involved, more at a more fundamental level. I used the centrifuge on that, and it separated, but it did not like being separated.
Hmm. What does it look like? And he's gonna sort of look over at the centrifuge, going, "Oh, we didn't look at that because I had was playing with the color swatcher."
I mean, it's probably taken some time for it to like separate anyway, so I suppose now is a good time to have a look at that.
Yeah. Just conveniently enough, you hear like a little ding as it's
Ding.
done.
Right on time.
uh, perfect timing. I love it.
As you take this out of the centrifuge, you see it has divided up like it did in the original sample, but unlike the original sample, say it did immediately like not like that and try to get back together. It's actually stayed more and less stable. Like you see some like little like I don't want to say tentacles, but like little bits of it like reaching out to each other, but for the most part it
Mm,
is a lot more stable to it.
yeah.
And
Hmm.
through this get you do have a I say you do have an idea that flows through your head that you say what I say need to get my notes. You see that it's this sample, though stable, is similar to the similar blood sample, along with Mad Lad's, and you get to see another little pattern to it. That it's a mixture of magical genetics and mutations from both sides, from Toon and Real, and you're thinking that this combination, it's trying to bring out something. It's trying to take what try to take elements of Toonkind in real time and basically try to bring out the better halves of them to varying degrees of success. Mad Lad was close, but not exactly what they were probably looking for, according to his blood. This one is less of a degree than that, and then, of course, with the first sample, it didn't work absolutely at all. It looks like they're trying to
Yeah.
bring out some sort of power, and maybe even, you hate to think it, but quicken evolution in some way.
Oh, I don't like that. I don't think Crystal likes that either.
However, with what you've seen with the blood swatches and everything else, this is where the Nat 20 comes to play because as she as a as you and Chiffley like tell each other this, you both get the feeling like this doesn't add up. That even mixing Toonkind and real kind blood, even if you add some genetic like connections to it, it's like this shouldn't happen naturally. And there
Yeah.
has to be something that connects the both of them. Some base that is a some magic, some base that would have to be able to connect the two together. And it sort of hits both of you because you had the idea before about the well of inspiration. And you kind of think that to make this work, it would have to take something like the ink of had to take something like the ink from the well of inspiration to get remotely to work. And you feel like maybe that has to do with it because the well of inspiration is a blank slate. It is a base for it to go off of. And you possibly feel like you don't have any evidence yourself, but you may it's the thought you don't have any concrete evidence right now, but there's that thought that goes into your mind that could possibly connect real kind and Toonkind with something much stronger, much more divine.
Mm.
Chiffley
Yeah,
is just going to very
Crystal.
slowly pinch the bridge of his nose, and he is going to very slowly issue a curse in Celestial.
Yeah, Crystal's doing similar, like she's pinching the bridge of her nose, like rubbing her eyes, pushing her glasses up, just like, oh, of course. Fuck. Like, am I going to have to like go through all of the hoops to get permission to get a sample of the well of inspiration?
Possibly.
Uh,
This is
paperwork.
getting
So much paperwork.
this is getting very complicated very quickly.
It definitely is. That's I'm hoping that my notes can shed more light on this. Otherwise, the getting a sample the first time was quite a pain. But it should be doable if we need it. I
Of a well ink. This is just outrageous.
yes,
That's the bit that's made sense though.
it would it would explain a lot of things. I and I'm still sort of tossing up whether I want her to do this, but I think it might be interesting. Um, is that because I've been thinking about this since Chiffley asked for a sample from her because of the Fey magic.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Um, I'm gonna roll Hammer Space. Yeah, okay, that'll work. She does stick around a little bit And then um she pulls out another like little like container and and this one's got like a much older number on it and she well not that old but like still a lot older than the other ones and she passes it over to Chiffley with a I don't know if this will be super helpful but um this is a um this is a blood sample from Cassie.
I am not going to ask why you keep that in your pocket. And he's just going to turn and go and stick it under the microscope.
Because Cassie has both Fey magic and as well as like magic from a deity and you know a bunch of other sources because she is a thaumaturge. She absorbs magic. So and she's a color changing toon. So she's just like maybe if we compare it to this like I don't know. This is a lot of things and she's not exactly a great baseline to base this off of because it's not like anything else I've really seen, but it would be interesting to see if any of the markers kind of match at all.
Hmm.
Chief understands this. So like he's not questioning the logic of using Cassie's sample because it's like I don't know whether or not he knows about the deity interference. I don't know that they've had that conversation.
I
But
don't think they have.
no, they haven't. But he does know that, you know, if Crystal is Toon plus Fae, then Cassie is Toon plus Fae because they have the same parents.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So, yes, he understands the logic. He's not questioning that. He's just sort of given her a look like you've got a blood sample of your sister in your hammer space. Like, he doesn't say anything apart from that one quip he already made, but he's just like, really? Okay.
I think Crystal's gonna sniff at that and th- don't give me that look. This was from the time when her magic first arrived. It was to make sure that her magic was stable enough and wasn't going to cause any unusual side effects.
That's fine. And he just sort of gives her a little bit of a smile and a shake of the head. And then he's going to just look at it under the microscope.
Like I said, I have no idea how useful this will be. I'm so sorry, Winona, but just like a bunch of these things, I'm just like, oh, she probably would with this amount of like things, and she
Understandable.
does have it.
You can sort of deduce from this comparison of this sample that, yeah, this is definitely not Fey magic. There is mixtures of all sorts of magic with this, but it sort of has more of a as you compare and contrast the samples of the sort of magic, and since Cassie does absorb a lot of magic, you could this is more arcane raw magic that doesn't have a distinct like signature like Shadowfell magic or Fey magic or Celestial magic. It's sort of well, it does have a little bit of Celestial, but of course the ink from the Well of Inspiration was created by a god themselves.
Yeah, yeah. It is kind of a deity.
Mm-hmm. So you get more celestial vibes, but you also get less Fey and other sort of magic, but more of like a raw power to it, like original creation magic arcane.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Cassie's probably has a lot more of like it's hard to decipher because it has a mixture of many different magical signatures, which
Mm-hmm.
can make it very difficult. But it's like rather than not really having any signature, it's sort of like it has too many kind of thing. And so it's like a good comparison to say, no, this isn't just like a bunch of like different magic sources all sort of tied together. This is
Yeah.
something that is fairly like pure magic.
Yes, exactly. And that's what you can deduce from this.
Hmm. 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 Yeah. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. Well, that's different. That's definitely different. It's not Faye.
Yes. On the one hand, I suppose it's comforting to know that it's not, well, taking magic from a wide variety of sources, but not so sure that this does seem like the well of inspiration is our best lead at this point.
Oh, if you're looking for the, well, to distill Toonkind down to its purest form, the well is it. Predistilled. Yeah, already there. And getting your hands on it, while it may be complicated, I assume, it's not like nobody knows where it is.
It's difficult but doable. It's difficult for most. It's difficult to get your hands on without going to the well of inspiration due to the amount of rigorous paperwork and background checks that they do for obvious reasons. And mm, there are black market sources, but those are also very, very expensive.
I'm
Your
gonna
best.
roll a religion just because this is now into religion territory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is all based on
Mm.
Crystal's knowledge of how she had to get, like, all of the hoops she had to jump through in the past to get, like, a sample for her research.
Yeah, like it
Which
was
she
just.
was not allowed to keep.
Yeah, it definitely having a university does help back you up with that, but still lots of paperwork.
Oh yeah, so much paperwork.
Alright, so Chief got a 14 on the religion, which is pretty good considering that this isn't his religion, necessarily.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I'm just thinking whether or not. Well, because, yeah, obviously there's the well, but also it just occurred to me the name of this FPS. It's like, what about the goddamn valley?
Yep.
um, so, yeah. What do you think, Nona?
here's the
As our,
thing.
as our DM?
Here's the thing. You're writing your assumption, like, even within religious sectors, the ink is not to be touched. It is only, like, especially within the religion, is like, it's sacred. And only the closest of ceremonies even perform it, if they even do that. And it's only been led out, like you heard from Crystal, like very rarely to very reputable sources for scientific purpose only. And even then, they're not going to let you keep it.
Yeah.
However, you know from history that the well of inspiration used to run throughout
Yeah.
Inkwell.
They used
And
to literally be rivers,
there used to be
both above
rivers.
and below ground.
And that eventually it slowed down once creation and everything sparked to life and sort of began the cycles. However, the thing is that that sort of pure inspiration, it could possibly be somewhere in the Uncanni Valley, like somewhere deep, but no one, you would have to go searching for it. Like, if there was any way to get it on the black market, that was probably the way to do it, is find some secret pocket of still still inspiration ink. But even then, it's probably iffy just because of how long it's been sitting there. But it's
I
not
mean, you can
impossible.
go to the well of
Well, you go to
inspiration.
well, I know you can go to the well of inspiration, but it's more like it's not impossible to possibly find some maybe like if
I'm just thinking of coming across an underground like lake of inspiration, but it's fucking stagnant. It's stagnant inspiration. It's like art block.
yeah.
Cause your inspiration's gone
Just thinking
stale.
like you stumble across like ideas from your childhood, and you're like, ah, I remember when I was planning that, and it never went anywhere.
Oh yes.
Here's the thing: you could pause and say, of course, you can go to the well, but basically, it's just like it's not impossible to say there could be pockets left, like very small bits of it in the uncanny valley, but it's also very unlikely. It's more like you it is a thought you have, and it could be a possibility of how they got something like it. That they somehow.
Yeah,
Yeah, I probably didn't explain that well, but it's just like the river dried up is like there could be like secret pockets of it.
I'm having a thought now. Um, so you know how Crystal just said that you have to go through a really rigorous process in order to get it, but that like universities is generally one of the more reputable sources. We are talking about University City and the headmistress of there. Um, so they
Until
might
she was
actually have
revealed to
a
be a
way to get a
swindling
legitimate
dragon.
source. Yeah.
Indeed, you follow down my breadcrumbs.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, I think Crystal's just gonna like curse softly under her breath and okay, this is making more sense. Well, I mean, at least how they managed to get a hold of it and why they would be so interested in controlling a university of all places. But that still leaves a lot of unanswered questions about why. What are they trying to do? Why tunes specifically?
Well, you said yourself. We have a inherent number of features that would be enviable. Like, I mean, we can crossbreed with any other real kind, which is, a boon. We don't necessarily have to have a childhood. We don't necessarily age. We can bounce back from things. We have different forms of magic based into our very beings, into our souls even. And there are a number of things which are just things that I imagine we take for granted. But to say human, it would be enviable. And if we assume this has started with Alexander's family wanting to bring him back, bringing him back in a way that he couldn't be taken from them again.
Yes, but there
So,
are other methods to do that.
there are. And that's the bit that we're still missing. That's the piece that still eludes us. I wonder if there's
Don't
anything
like
in the
it.
Blood Hunter thing that would be informative. I mean, I don't think, apart from Alexander, I don't think I know any Blood Hunters.
I don't know any either, but Lin might.
She seems the type to know at least 3 of any kind of person you could think of.
Yes, she has a fair few connections, doesn't she?
I've seen the wall.
I honestly have no idea how she keeps track of them all.
He's just gonna give a shrug. No. Well, at least we have some answers, but loads more questions which we could be asking. And unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to get that in this kind of setting. Because we've got some answers as to what's happened, but as to why, the motivations and all that, the only person that we even remotely know the location of who might have some insight is the person whose blood this is.
Yes, and neither of us have access to that information either. Nor am I sure whether that would be of any use to us anyway, considering I am not 100% sure how willing they would be to give us that sort of information.
And if Summers is still alive, whether or not Mad Lad and Alexander want to.
Sorry, you cut out
Yeah, you cut out.
at the end.
Oh, it's just Chiffley's voice because he's so soft-spoken. God dang it. He's insinuating whether or not they should tell Mad Lad and Alexander are dead.
I don't know if that's a good idea at this stage. While we have so little information about his whereabouts, his motivations, and what he's connected with, I don't know if it's a smart idea to tell him until we know more.
No, I agree. I don't know whether or not either of them would be excited about it. Alexander potentially. Mad Lad. For all of their creation is intertwined. They're two separate beings. And as far as Mad Lad is concerned, his family pirates. So this person is no one to him.
Not no one. They're important to someone close to him, even if he doesn't have a relationship with them himself.
More what I mean is they would not be united in the same level of enthusiasm to see them again.
Yes, and it's likely to make them both emotional and potentially rash. Do something stupid.
And we don't want to encourage that any more than get up to that kind of nonsense.
No, probably not. I think we'll have to tell him at some point, but not yet.
This kind of investigative work is not really something I'm good at. And, well, medicine is one thing, science is very much another, and politics.
It's a different thing altogether. Yes.
People can do
I'm
very
not sure if
intense things for what they crave more than anything, no matter who gets in their way. And I just worry that this is one of those situations that all of this is someone's desire unchecked. And if it continues to run unchecked, people are going to get hurt.
From the sounds of it, people have already gotten hurt. At least from the bits of information that I've heard. And I barely know. I barely know anything about it. That does not bode well to me.
No.
Because, yeah, there was a dragon fight.
Yeah.
And Crystal is particularly thinking of the fact that she has not mentioned Chiffley, that the dragon was killed, and then the body went missing.
And then they realized, oh, that isn't the right body. She's technically still out there.
Oh, yes. I forgot about that. Oh, what a tangled web. Good grief, good gravy. Oh, goodness. Golly gosh. Okay.
Look, I've been planning this for a very long time.
I couldn't tell.
I don't have any other ideas.
I love you, Winona. This is excellent. I love this so much. I love how much story weaving and stuff you've put in. That's just me being snarky and being like, I want to know all.
No, that's totally fair and valid.
Yeah, I got nothing else. Brain empty.
Yeah, and you
I'm
guys
trying
all
to think. I feel like, yeah, I feel like there's a little bit more that I don't think so. I think Crystal is just like, right, I'm gonna have to make another trip to Halloween Town. Joy.
Yeah, you guys actually got everything on my list of things that you guys could have gotten.
It's always nice to hear.
Yeah, you 100% completed this. Congratulations.
We completed the fetch quest.
Yeah.
Oh,
It is
dear.
your choice now what you want to say, how you guys want to handle this situation.
I do think I will get Chiffley to do the really stupid thing, just because he wants to know what would happen.
Oh.
And also because I want to know what would happen.
I would like to say I think Crystal's gonna facepalm and like, I'm gonna have to make a trip to Halloween Town for this. Just like, if Kara ends up messing with her again, she's just like, I don't have time, please. I need to give this to Lin, and I'm not doing it by mail because this is important.
Oh, they'll acquiesce in that case, but yeah, Chiff will give a very quiet laugh at that. Well, if you need company for that endeavor, do let me know. And then what he's going to go do is like, I just want to see what happens when I do this, just because I'm curious. And he's going to take one of the slides that has his sample on it, and he's going to put it right next to the microscope. And then he's going to get the little sample, like the blood hunter sample, and he's going to dip it on top and stick it under the magnifying glass and see if it does anything.
You do that, and it literally does nothing. You just made a contaminated piece of blood.
That's disappointing. He's visibly disappointed. He was kind of expecting like the lycanthropy magic to do something, or the itsy bitsy little bits of ice that seems to be in his sample to do something. But it's like, nope, these plot lines will not cross. It's like, dang.
I think Crystal's gonna look at it and, well, I suppose that's better than it exploding.
I honestly hadn't considered that as a potential outcome. So, well, yeah, you can see how often I do this kind of thing.
Yeah, she gives him a grim smile that suggests that this is not the first time that might have happened to her.
Well, He satisfied that curiosity. He's a bit disappointed, but also kind of relieved at the same time. It's like, all right, cool.
Yeah, I think Crystal had been ready with like as soon as he started like placing it on top of that, she was like getting ready for if I need to like cast like a shield spell on the two of us to keep us safe.
Yeah. Compared to the first time.
Well, this is why he only did it with
pretty
a little
much.
bit, not the whole thing, because he's like, I wonder what would happen if I combined. Will anything happen? The answer
Oh, yeah.
apparently is no, and it's like, okay. And he's just gonna go,
Fair
I'll
enough.
help you clean up. Then he's gonna start like
Thank you.
moving things, tidy up.
Much appreciated. Crystal was like, usually I have to do this by myself, and it's just like, will instruct him on how to put everything away. Probably again with like extremely specific. You need to clean it this way, and then make sure that it goes up there, and make sure that the label is returned, and then we need to fill out this form to show that we used this equipment for this length of time.
Yep. Oh, it's good to have a lab assistant.
Indeed.
Oh dear. My grandfather
To
would
be
be
fair,
proud.
I don't know whether it's strictly policy or like okay, it's probably policy, but I think Crystal is also the sort to stick to the letter of policy and add way too much information and no one reads it.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was exciting.
That was fun.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
Thank you for giving us the
That was
opportunity
good.
to grab some tweezers and try and pry lore out of your brain.
And you did get lore.
Yeah! Lore!
Oh man, I think we're gonna have to grab Rewild for another FPS.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, we are. Chiff is now kind of invested in this too, so like, if he gets the inkling that Crystal is doing things without him, he's going to be a bit put out. Like,
That's
like
fair.
he is going to be going on a trip at some point. But like, for as long as he's in town, he wants to be involved.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's fair. But for now, thank you everyone listening into this, say, FPS from now into the future. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.